G'day, mate. I'm Dan Aubuchon, and welcome back to the Joy of Tennis Teaching. The reason I gave you that greeting and the reason I'm wearing this lovely hat is the Australian Open, the Happy Slam, is back underway. I had no idea that 2020 was going to be my last trip, but I made my trip finally down under to the Aussie Open, and I had a chance to work with a really talented young Chinese girl while the tournament was going on and see some matches and be in Melbourne. It was a wonderful trip, one of my favorite trips of my career. So anyway, we're enjoying watching the Australian Open. And the other big news and the other thing that's happening is I spoke with Samir again, and we are in process of organizing a Come and Try It clinic at the JW Marriott Desert Springs in Palm Desert for blind tennis. So I'm very excited to learn all the rules and particulars and help Samir in any way I can, but he's going to come down and run this clinic for us in mid-February. So we'll give you a lot more information when that time comes. Okay, last week we talked about the importance of learning to be your own coach. And we said that one of the questions we would ask all the students is, what is a coach's job? And we narrowed it down to the coach encourages you and praises you when you do something right, and they correct you when you make a mistake. And that's a pretty good, simple definition of what a coach does. The problem is mistakes. What's a mistake? I love asking clinics and even private lessons, how many possible mistakes can you make on a tennis court? Because the answer to that question is always hundreds, unlimited, all of them. In group clinics, often somebody will say infinite amount of mistakes. As soon as I get the infinite answer, I stop and I say, okay, how many in the group think there's more than infinite? Raise your hands. And usually most people raise their hands. So I have a little joke made in then, I guess you don't understand infinite. But it made me think about it. Why do people think there are so many mistakes in tennis? That's because of the way the game is taught. And we've got our good friend Stacy Sims agreed to come out and help me. And I worked yesterday a little bit with Stacy on his forehand. So Stacy, the lesson today is going to be a bit different. This is going to be a typical forehand tennis lesson. So go ahead, Stacy, hit a forehand. No, you didn't bend your knees enough, Stacy. Go ahead and hit it again. That's better, but you didn't watch the ball, Stacy. Come on. Get that follow through up higher, Stacy. Tuck your elbow into your body. Okay, I don't think you flexed your right big toe enough on that one. Let's go. And that's the way most tennis lessons go. So after hundreds of tennis lessons and thousands of strokes, the students have heard what after every stroke? What they did wrong. I had to actually rehearse that last night because it's so against the PBI way of teaching to give negative instruction that that's one of the hardest things that I'll do all year on the video is do that negative thing. So let's get to the most important thing that you are going to learn today. How many possible mistakes are there on a tennis court? There are 4 mistakes. Long, net, too far out to the right, too far out to the left. Those are the 4 correctable mistakes. So that's great. Now, if you understand the game, you might realize that I just lied to you. There's a 5th mistake. The 5th mistake is missing the ball completely or mishitting it. And so let's deal with that 5th mistake to get it out of the way because it's really not that relevant to learning. If you're a new player and you're making the 5th mistake, don't worry about it. It's bad hand-eye coordination. You'll get better with your coordination and you'll improve. If you've been playing for a while, like Stacy, go ahead and take a swing and miss the ball. It's easy to do. There's no ball. There we go. And Stacy, if he missed that ball, I would just say, slow down. Take a little slower stroke. Because if an advanced player or an intermediate player is mishitting the ball or missing the ball, it just means they've made the hand-eye coordination topic too difficult. They've swung too fast for that particular situation. I'm not saying that you can't swing fast. What I'm saying is, don't swing fast if you're mishitting. If you're mishitting or missing the ball, slow it down. Like, let's think of a ball that goes really deep at the baseline. If Stacy's got a ball that's coming right to his feet and he takes a full backswing and a full follow through, go ahead and try to get that one. And he swings over the ball because the wall scared him. The idea here is that if you got a ball deep at the baseline at your feet, just half volley it. Boom, that's it. Just let the contact do the work. Minimum potential, a concept that we've talked about before. So what we're trying to get you to understand is the fifth mistake goes away if you make the proper correction. But let's talk about the 4 mistakes. The 4 mistakes are the same for everybody. For those great players at the Australian Open, for me yesterday trying to hit in a wheelchair, for club players, for little kids. In the net means that your racket face sent the ball on too low a trajectory. A ball that goes long means the ball was too high and too fast. So you could go slower and just poop it in. That would correct that long mistake. But you want to be able to hit the ball hard and deep. And there's ways to do that. If it's missing too much to the right or too much to the left, your point of contact is late or early, depending on the stroke. So those are all the corrections you need to know. So yesterday when Stacy and I were working, he would hit the balls that I fed and we had a target, and I would say, what was the miss? And he would tell me to the left or the right of the target. And that actually, he understands the concept, so he would say I was late or early. And I said, well, actually, let's talk about the mistake itself. The late and early is what caused the mistake. But so players have become more aware of where their ball goes. I was telling the story to the guys that I once gave a lesson to a student on their serve, and their serve looked good, but every ball went into the net. And he served like the first 4, and I was going to say something, but I caught myself. And I kept handing him balls, and he kept serving into the net. And he kept telling me, well, I think this is wrong, or I think this is wrong, or I think this is wrong. And I finally got behind him, and I had him turn and face me, and I said, okay, there's 4 mistakes, net, long, right, and left. I said, which one do you think you make more common? And he thought about it, and he says, I think they're probably kind of equal. And then he turned around and all 19 balls were in the net. He was completely unaware that his only problem was he was hitting the ball down. As soon as he made that correction, his serve was fine, end of lesson. So this idea of being your own coach starts with the simplicity of understanding there's 4 correctable mistakes. Do not worry about where your left big toe is. Do not worry about whether your hips have pivoted or not. Worry about where the ball goes. And if the ball is not going where you want it to go, then you can start making the corrections. So that's our first stage, and understanding that the negative impact of overcorrecting in lessons has caused students to believe there's so many mistakes. There's one other thing that has caused this. Some of the myths of the game of tennis. And that's going to be our show next week, is to blow up some of these myths. So thank you very much for watching. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. We've got 129 subscribers, and we've been stuck there for quite a while. So I want to see if we can boost that up. And go out there and enjoy tennis. Be joyful.